Let's bring in Evan Siegfried, who is a political commentator, himself a Republican strategist. He is in New York City today. Okay, so your takeaway, big picture, what did you think?
I thought that Kamala Harris had an exceptional night, to be honest with you. At the beginning, she was a little tense and she had to sort of find her groove. But within the second question that Donald Trump got, as he was answering, you saw Harris get this little twinkle in her eye, which somebody like me who has trained and worked with candidates on big debates in moments like this is a sign that she all of a sudden knew exactly where she was and felt very comfortable. You saw her again and again and again bait Donald Trump. And what did Donald Trump talk about all night? The past. And that's not what voters want to hear. She talked about the future. He talked about the past. He talked about how he was the one who helped get Roe v. Wade overturned. And he actually bragged about it at certain points. And then he also was trying to hit Kamala Harris on immigration. She was able to successfully maneuver on that. And then when she got hard questions that she deserved to be facing, such as the completely botched Afghanistan withdrawal, she was able to handle that perfectly by talking about Donald Trump and his role while he was president of helping to make Afghanistan a less stable country, particularly his inviting the Taliban to Camp David in 2020, just before the 9/11 anniversary, as well as how he unilaterally bypassed the Afghan government, which was somewhat stable at the time, and released 5,000 Taliban terrorists, creating further instability. And I was watching the debate last night with a veteran of the Navy who had served alongside the Navy SEALs in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And he, no progressive, found the answer to be very good and very strong, which is something that I think other veterans might have found and been surprised to see.
So what was Trump's strategy? I mean, pretty clear that you got to focus on the economy. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Likely the answer might be no. And also talking about, border security. He did touch on those issues, but, it sort of veered into different kind of pathways as he was trying to navigate that. What happened there?
Well, as Lindsey Graham said, and he's one of Trump's biggest boosters in the Senate, Trump had a disaster of a night. Whatever strategy he had going in was out the window very quickly. You could tell by the body language, even though the mics were muted. You had the split screen at all times where you were able to see both candidates' faces while each were talking. And Donald Trump, when he wasn't speaking, he looked brooding. He looked angry. He looked like he didn't want to be there and almost like it was beneath him. Whereas Kamala Harris's body language, when she was listening to Donald Trump, particularly on the more out there things, was just, is this guy serious? And it was a different tact that other candidates have employed against Donald Trump, where they've tried to say, you are outrageous. It was much more just, I can't believe this guy is even a serious candidate. It goes back to the weird thing.
Yeah.
I think Donald Trump's strategy was, if there was one, was to try and tie her to Joe Biden, but he didn't do a good job of that. She got so under his skin that he just flailed, and it didn't offer any real solutions. And if you're an American and you're undecided, you were looking at two things. Well, you might like Donald Trump's policies as an undecided voter, but you don't like Donald Trump the man. And you're wondering, has he changed and does he have the temperament to be president?
I know
this didn't show that.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of stuff thrown out to, his base, the solid, supporters of Trump, and some of that is culture war stuff, going after, transgender surgeries, and, also trying to bring in illegal immigrants. And at one point, Evan, he sort of brought both of those together. We're just going to play that if we can right now during the debate where Trump talked about that and see what Harris's response was as well, or her visual response anyway. Watch this.
Things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Yeah. Okay, so transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. What do you think?
That's clearly the top issue for every voter in this country. No, voters wanted to hear about the economy. They wanted to hear about immigration and actual solutions. And Donald Trump did not offer any. And that was the big problem. Donald Trump, he didn't have a good answer until the very last minute, or the very last answer he gave in the debate. And there's an old saying that debates can be lost at any point. Win this debate.
Yeah. All right. Evan Siegfried there joining us with his take. And we appreciate you taking the time, Evan.